Matt and Holland scope of work, mulch install, a little bit of trimming, good amount of bed prep, digging out a handful of plants. So just running through the whole video, starting here out front. So these, I forget what they're actually called, but he actually wants them gone. He said last year he had them all dug out and they came back with vengeance, filled in the whole bed. He ideally wants them gone, and he only wants to keep this little bush, that little bush. There's a rose bush right there you can see, then that grassy plant over there. So the 4 things he wants to keep. Everything else ideally he wants gone. Now, I would say, I don't know if the best way is to brush cut it or how deep some of them go with the plants. I mean, I just dug out one and it just seemed to come right out. But, you know, brush cut it, rake out that soil. Maybe we even want to spray a little bit. This is a job I would definitely bring some Roundup, the backpack sprayer. Try to spray the best we can. He gets aggressive weeds, he said, so we might want to try to spray some spots to just help them from coming back a little bit, and then go a little heavier with the preen everywhere just to try to help them out with that. But yeah, basically clear out the whole bed, set the 4 plants, you know, brush cut it, dig it out, rake it out, whatever, cut a fresh edge, and then black mulch in there. Bed up there, straightforward, nothing, it's not even bad, rake it out, mulch it. And then come in here, so, you know, edge them, rake them out, mulch them. You got some weeds running here. So all of these type of things that you'll see, the purpley kind of like it's a weed actually, he said. He doesn't like them, he doesn't want them. So you'll see them throughout the beds. That's a weed, he wants it gone. So you can like dig them out, they're not plants. Oh, this is weeds, you know, plant. All that is weed. Clear all that out. No trimming of that. Leave it alone. No trimming of anything here. You know, that's a weed. Now this like ground cover plant, he wants to keep it. He likes it. He just doesn't want it so spread out. So like how it's all kind of spread out. He said if you can kind of just like remove some of it so that it's more clumped together and it's not as close to the other plants, because I know these like spread a lot. So basically, like for this spot in particular, I would dig that out, get rid of it, dig that out, get rid of it, and then leave this little cluster here and then get rid of all that. So you just leave a small little cluster and you're leaving space in between plants. Moving same thing kind of to here. Like I would move the outer parts right here, some of the outer right here, and then leave that little cluster. He's good with that. That's a plant. A couple weeds running here. Remember, these are weeds. I'm sorry, weeds. Get rid of them. No trimming of anything here. No trimming of anything here. You know, all these little, you know, this dormant grass you can rake out and clean up. All this basically is weed. You can leave that little cluster, but that's all weed. That's a plant. You can leave it. All this stuff under here is weedy. You can get rid of it. No trimming of this tree unless he says otherwise. This right here, you can dig it out and remove it. It's not too hard. It's a small plant, but it's like dead. So all these like little onion weed things, get rid of them. Probably want to pull these. I know we brush cut and stuff, but typically when we pull these, they have a little bit of a root on them. So we want to you know, pull them out versus just brush cutting them, because they'll come back quick. We don't want that. So the rock area he asked about weeding that out, so you have to move some of the rock, pull some of the weed, and then spray the area. But he is looking for the weeds to be out of the rocks here, and then he has rocks running all along the house. So I told him it's a little bit labor intensive, but we can do it. We'll just price it accordingly. Pull some of the rock out, pull all the weeds, put the rock back, spray the area. Over here is real bad. You know, you got to try to do your best to see where plants are. So like he has tags on a lot of the things, so you know, okay, that's a plant, but a lot of it is weeds. So, you know, brush cut it, do whatever. He doesn't like the fabric. I don't like the fabric. So if at any point, like maybe not here, but you'll see on the corner what I'm talking about. We're gonna rip out some of the fabric, not going crazy with it, but anything that's like right there, just get rid of it. You'll see what I'm talking about over there. Anyway, just go through the bed, you know, clear out this area too. He said like gets so bad. So what I would say is after we weed out the area the best we can, keep in mind there's some plants mixed in here. Maybe where we can and we feel safe that we're not super close to a plant, we want to spray a little bit and lay some preen just to help prevent it from kind of coming back. So like again, you'll see like this is a rose bush plant, but there's a ton of weeds in here. That's a plant, but there's a ton of weeds in here. There's some hostas back here, ton of weeds around it. Here's a plant, and you can see like there's a tag, so you know it's a plant. It's a rose bush, I think. So you'll see like where there's plants, you kind of have to. This is a plant right here. You know, that's a plant. As you're in here, you'll see it. Reminder: clear out all the weeds. This rock area, weed it out, spray it. You know, moving here, most of this is really all weeds, honestly. Almost this whole corner is weeds except this and that. And this is the area I'm talking about with the fabric. Like it's literally, it's just like sitting here. So I would have a razor blade or something and just like cut this whole area out. And that way when we put mulch, it doesn't slide. Because you can see, you got weed barrier fabric, you got weeds right on top of it. So fabric's doing nothing. Anyway, cut it out, remove it. This one he said is like dead and he think he might have it removed and plant something new. So I told him $25 per plant that he wants to install. For like, we'll charge $25 per plant to install. He'll have it here ready to go. So we'll just have to tally that up versus how many. And I'll put it in the estimate, but if he's got 5 plants, 25 a pop, 125. If he's got one, $25, whatever. So, all right, moving here. So you got a rose bush here, but most of the rest of it's weeds. All right, this area's a little funky. So he has stone in here along the house, and he said the last guy last year just threw mulch over top of it. So you'll see that there's rocks underneath that mulch. So he wants a price on basically digging out those rocks, pulling it out, and then kind of thinning out the mulch there, and then putting the rocks back on top against the house. And then when you do remulch, do not throw mulch covering the rocks, obviously. Ideally, you want that rock along the house so that you don't pile the mulch along the house. It's not really good, like we've talked about before, to just pile up mulch against the house. So moving here, these are all plants really, but there's a lot of weeds in here too. And then you kind of see, these are plants that'll come back. These are all plants, but there's kind of some weeds mixed in. So that's there. All right, then moving to this side. Same thing here with the fabric. We can get rid of it. Weeds aren't too bad here. That's a plant, that's a plant, that's a plant. A little bit of weeds, edge it, mulch it. Have to weed out this rock area a good bit. All right, this lilac bush, he wants it just trimmed a little bit so you can get rid of all that growth in the corner there. You can't really see on the video. So get rid of that growth in the corner, and then he's looking to just kind of trim it away from the house and away from his chimney a little bit. And then on this side, just try to trim out a little bit of this to just kind of keep the plant more inside the mulch beds and not in his yard so much. Move it over here. Plant, mostly weeds. He didn't say it really, but I guess maybe we want to touch up this area too, where you got the trash cans, or at least spray it. We didn't actually talk about it, but and then around this tree you got a bunch of weeds. So edge it, mulch it, weed it, and then I think I set up at that tree over there. And that's it.